With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
You know those times when you get invited to a party as a guest?
And he took me to a John Legend private concert. I didn't even know that's what we were doing.
You had me at, can you call out sick to work?
And you have no idea what you're in for.
I whipped out my junk and put it on his desk.
This is a podcast about just that.
They're going to arrest us for being on mushrooms at a wizard park. We're in trouble.
This is Plus One Stories.
Welcome back to another episode of Plus One Stories. I'm Chris Donovan, your host, and this week we get to talk to a very good friend of mine I've known for over 20 years. His name is Barry FUNKhouser, but I call him Funk. Now, Funk tells us a story about how he was day drinking one time with his roommates up in Laurel Canyon. That's in Hollywood, if you're wondering. When he accidentally started up a conversation with Tom Green. Now, Tom Green was a comedian and actor, married Drew Barrymore back in the day, and we talk about that a little bit. He kind of put his foot in his mouth when Tom was around and he saw a picture of Drew Barrymore. So hang out for that and go to thisisfunner.com. Check out all the other podcasts and online content up there. So please enjoy this conversation with me and Barry FUNKhouser, or as I call him, Funk, here on Plus One Stories.
It's the new music show with Cisco and Funk.
Well, it's not necessarily the new music show because that's an old liner, but welcome back to another episode of Plus One Stories. I'm Chris Donovan and this is Funk. My buddy, Barry FUNKhouser, how are you, man?
It shows how long we've known each other since, what was that, from 2002 or something?
Yeah, that was X1039 days before we got fired.
Oh, you remember terrestrial radio? Oh, that was so much fun back then when you didn't have the internets and all that. Wow.
I know, it's dying slowly, but it does pay my bills, so I have to support it. So
it's still around, it's just we have this now, which is even better. Imagine if we had this back then.
We did. We just didn't, call it podcasting really, because I remember we'd throw out snippets of our shows and stuff and nobody else was really doing it, but we were pioneers in this field, Funk, don't you remember?
Yes, just call us the forefathers.
The forefathers. All right, so this is Plus One Stories though, and you've heard stories about somebody having mushrooms at Universal, my buddy putting his junk on Larry Flint's desk, and now we're talking to another one of my friends who's been in the industry long enough, and he is going to tell us a story about you being a plus one. How does this all work out, Funk?
Okay, well, Plus One Stories is about being invited to things that you are just out of this world amazing, right? Is that the...
Yeah, or you're the guest to that one person that has to, handle everything, yet you get to sit back and just watch everything unfold, or you run into somebody crazy, or, something crazy happens with you and, you lose all your clothes.
Well, everything, all the checks are marked except for the last one there about losing clothes. But
thank God.
I'll tell you my story about Tom Green and how I met Tom Green and became his plus one, okay? Is that a good one?
Yeah, he's the guy that humped the moose, right?
Yeah. People know who Tom Green is. He's a comedian. He was on MTV.
Had his own talk show.
He had a movie or two or three.
Freddie got fingered.
He was married to somebody famous.
Who?
For a while. She has her own talk show now on TV.
He was married to... I couldn't think of anything fast enough to be funny.
Not Ellen.
I'm like, he's married to Queen Latifah? Does she have a daytime show still? Anyway, who's he married to?
Drew Barrymore.
Oh, shit, he was married to Drew Barrymore. You're right. Okay. All right, so past that, keep going.
So here I am, okay? At this point, I'm working for a satellite radio company in the adult content arm, which is I'm doing rated R talk radio.
Which is the dream of most single men. I mean, let's be honest.
It was pretty awesome almost no money.
Well,
and even less respect.
That's true, though, probably.
But it was a wild ride, and at some point they allowed me, I was a producer, and they let me do podcasts on Friday nights.
Nice.
On one of the stations. And so I got to go out there and start to look for podcasters and whatnot. And I started to develop some friends that would always be in tow, because, when you're dealing with radio, I don't know if you know, but radio people come in groups.
Yeah, they have entourages, and it's not because they're famous, it's because everybody else is cheap. Nobody has any money.
So it was a Friday night. Actually, I think at this point it was like a Sunday or something. It was a low point in time, and I was living in Studio City, which is a suburb in the valley, and I could walk to a place called Laurel Tavern.
Ooh.
And Laurel Tavern is on Laurel Canyon in Ventura, and it's like a dive bar that is right next to the Hollywood Hills on one side, but on the other side, there's a bunch of, apartments and dreamers living in those apartments trying to make it. So you get kind of a melting pot of both kinds of people. And so one Sunday afternoon, it was, Sunday morning, let's say, like 11 in the morning. My roommate was a pole dance instructor.
Oh, jeez. That sounds like fun.
We had a pole in the living room and mirrors, and, as I would eat lunch, I would overhear and oversee a session in progress.
Wow.
You have to move your leg this way and
really
upside down and backwards. Yeah, she was doing really well with the business of teaching people how to do it for aerobics. We're talking about aerobics here, all right?
I wasn't thinking about anything else.
It's a good workout. I can get up. I used to be able to get up on there back when we're talking like 12 years ago, bro.
Well, you do like the pole, so.
Love the pole.
Love the pole. Yeah, you
Respect to the pole. So it was a Sunday morning-ish, and we had a friend over who was a host, and she was learning. And I was like, you want to go to Laurel Tavern? We can walk over there. All right. So we head on over there. Nobody's there. And we're at the bar drinking. Nobody's really there. And at this point, I smoked cigarettes because I was crazy. At that point, for a couple years, I smoked cigarettes. And,
wow.
It was a bad move. But I excused myself to go out front to have one of those cancer sticks.
Okay. And
at this point, I had had 2 or 3. And it was like, an inappropriate time of day for that.
That's not true, but keep going.
And so I'm out front smoking, and there's this very tall, there's only one other guy up there. There's only one other human in the whole place that's out front.
Okay.
And I didn't make out the person, but I noticed that person was smoking a fake cigarette. It wasn't
real.
It wasn't an e-cig, because it was like 2000 before that.
Okay.
But I thought it might have been one of them, weed hitter things.
Okay.
And I did tell you I had a few. So I started making small talk saying, hey, that's not a real cigarette. It shouldn't even be here. What is that? Being very outrageously forward to strangers like I do after I had 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I look up and I go, oh shit, you're Tom Green. Hey Tom Green. How are you? And
he didn't think that it was just a ploy to get his attention so you could talk to him?
I don't think so.
Well, it worked out.
It had been pretty ballsy. He was the only person there for me to say that.
You're a jackass for one. Okay.
It was such the most annoying way to say anything. If I had known it was Tom Green, I would not probably have said a word,
Yeah, you probably wouldn't have said anything because you would have thought people bothered him too much.
I would have gone inside and told the girls I came with, hey, that's Tom Green. Go say hi.
Yeah, right.
Make them do it. But here I was talking to Tom Green, and it's like, well, now I have to save myself from myself. So I was making small talk, and hey, how you been doing with your career and all that? I don't know. I don't even remember what I was saying.
Well, if you started the conversation the way you did, I'm pretty sure you were, iffy on remembering things at the point.
It was a time where we could walk there. It was all good. So, but I did need a sandwich at the point, I would probably say. But anyway, he was asking me who I was with and who the girls, because he spotted the girls, right? And I was like, oh, those are my friends. You want to meet them? Brought them out there. Hey, come meet my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Brought my pole dance instructing
friends,
roommate, and friends. And we had a maybe a half hour. We had another couple drinks, and they were giggling and having a good time. We were actually like hanging out as if it's not like as if we had known Tom our whole time.
Nice. He wasn't like over the top or like, rude or thinking he was better than you guys. He just rolled over and started having a conversation, hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, he was with one of his buddies who was an older person.
Okay.
Who seemed to feel like a sleazy agent.
Probably was.
Or a comedian or something. I don't know.
Definitely in the business if they're drinking at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but keep going.
No. They were not drinking.
Oh.
I was drinking. They were there. I don't know why they were there.
To meet you, anyway.
So,
right?
So I was like, hey, hey, Tom, you guys want to go back to the spot and hang out a little longer? Because at this point, I had some Sunday night friends coming over. That I think they were going to record some stuff. One of my friends from work was coming in, and he knows how to play the guitar so well. He could play any song.
Okay.
Like you shout it out, and he'll start, playing the song on the guitar.
Nice.
And he was going to come. We were doing a project, and a couple other girls are coming over, and we were going to do some radio that night. And I was like, hey, Tom, you want to come over?
Now does he think you're hitting on him?
I was no, because he knew, like, he was hitting it off with the girls.
Yeah, he wanted to see the pole.
I guess so, because I said, we're just right over there. He goes, yeah, give me your address. I'll meet you over there. And lo and behold, he showed up. There he is in my apartment. My crappy apartment, Tom Green and some other dude.
It's not crappy. It's got a stripper pole and mirrors everywhere. It could be worse.
Yeah, bro, but we're talking like Studio City, what I could afford with a roommate kind of. Woo! It was dicier than one would expect.
And he still showed up. Okay.
And he still showed up. And we were hanging out for 2 or 3 hours. Everybody was. It wasn't like we were all hurdled around Tom. Tom was able to just hang out, like he was a normal part of everybody else. But it was mostly chicks in the room.
Okay. Which is not bad.
So I was like, well, shit, what do I do for background? Well, I'll put on some music, and I'll put on VH1 Classic on TV. Right? Because
he was on MTV.
Put that on in the background. And they were playing, at that point, I think they were playing classic SNL.
Oh, hilarious.
And
that's always good in the background.
And Drew Barrymore came on TV.
Oh, shit.
And I said, and at this point, I don't know nothing about Tom Green. I'm just like, well, I know he's a celebrity, and I know, I was a big fan when I was an 18-year-old kid. And
that's when he was popular.
I want to say this is 2011.
Damn, okay.
And so I don't know what the hell. So Drew Barrymore came on TV, and I said, hey, Tom, didn't you used to date her?
Uh-oh.
And then, uh-oh. One would think everyone, because, there's Barry being an idiot. You're not supposed to. So the room got quiet. Okay, we got like not 8 people in there, maybe.
Okay.
The room got quiet.
Oh, shit.
And then I look around and go, what? What did I say? Why is everybody quiet? Like, adding a spotlight to the elephant in the room.
Just so you feel less uncomfortable?
But I didn't know what I said. Because I didn't remember that he had gone through a marriage and a divorce, right? So I was just like, and you know what? If I would have known, it's very taboo, I would say, right? You don't say, hey, there's your ex-love. Isn't that her on TV at this party?
I mean, but you got to realize how he first met you outside the bar. He's going to expect shit like that out of your mouth. No?
I guess so. I didn't know what I said or did. It got all quiet, and I said, hey, what happened? And he started laughing, and he started laughing so hard. He was like, yeah, I used to be married to her, actually. And he just like, he thought that was so funny, the way that rolled out. You know, just me being just a goober, Gomer Pyle there going, what happened? You know, and he just got such a kick out of it. So, you know, party wound down. He, you know, and then in the middle of it, my friend who played guitar came over. And he's like, what's going on here? And I was like, bro, I would have never been able to, like, explain it to you. I didn't even tell him. I was just like, see you at 6.
Just come over, dude.
And he came over into that.
Tom Green, pole dancing. Yeah. That's awesome.
And then he walked in, and I was like, how am I going to, you know, he's like introvert, you know, bored op guy who doesn't, how am I going to say, this is my friend, you know? Mm-hmm. So I went, the guitar man is here. Because I knew that he could play the guitar in front of people.
Well, I mean. So
he walks in. I'm like, oh, the guitar man's here. Yay, the guitar man. And Tom goes, can you play any Neil Young?
Oh, jeez.
And then we started a sing-along. And somewhere along the line, somebody hit record and recorded the moment.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who did it.
My guess is you, because you or me when it comes to this stuff.
I don't know. I'm not going to say who did it, but somebody recorded a little moment, and I shared it with you earlier. So if you want to,
let's drop it in right here.
In the free world. That's right. That's what it is. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Peace signs up.
I see a woman.
Forgot the bridge. What was that? It was like a.
Oh yeah. I see a woman in the night. Listen to these lyrics, how crazy these lyrics are. Like, actually listen to the lyrics. Start again. Listen how crazy the lyrics are when you really listen to them. It's like this.
It's creepy.
I see a woman in the night. Okay, there's another verse. Oh, here we go. Okay, here's another verse. Keep up. Okay, here we go. This verse is even weirder.
I'm going on right now. Here we go.
Right, yeah. We got 1,000 points of light for the homeless man. He got a kinder, gentler machine gun hand. We got department stores and toilet paper. Got styrofoam boxes for the ozone layer. A man of the people says keep hope alive. Got fuel to burn. Got the roads to drive. Keep on rocking in a free world. Keep on rocking in a free world. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Don't miss your place.
Keep on rocking that free world. Yeah.
Human drinking dolphins at SeaWorld.
Okay, how drunk were you?
Oh, man, everybody at that point had too much.
Even Tom.
Everybody.
Even Tom sitting there drinking, having a good time with you guys. He's rocking in the free world?
Everybody's rocking in the free world. Everybody's having a great time. And then party over. You know, it was like Sunday at like 8 o'clock. It was party over. I was like, what a weekend, you know?
You just rounded it out.
You
just rounded out your weekend with a nice, good singing session with the guy that humped the moose in your apartment that made with paper-thin walls. You're having a good day.
Yeah, I didn't plan on any of that happening.
Yeah, that's sometimes that's the best time of day, best types of days.
Pretty good weekend.
Yeah,
pretty good weekend. So
okay.
So flash forward to like 2 months later.
Uh-oh.
And I get a phone call from this dude who works. He works for a podcast company that's just launching.
Okay.
He don't like me. Yeah, I can tell in the phone call. He don't like me. Hey, is this Barry? Yeah. Hey, or Barry FUNKhouser? You know, you could tell, like the way you say my name. It's like, okay, instant note disrespect right there. Is this Barry FUNKhouser? Like, he probably got my last name wrong a little.
Which is really hard to get wrong, actually. But, okay, keep going.
Yeah, this is Barry. Who's calling? Yeah, this is Blankety Blank from Podcast Blanks. And, you know, he had a very strange name.
Okay.
And he goes, yeah, Tom is launching a podcast here, and he needs a producer, and he requested you. So are you available to come on in? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I think I got, like, looking back, that was a job interview, I guess, because since then, I've been Tom's plus one. I've been Tom's plus one for everything podcast related. So, like,
even his new podcast?
All the way to his van life podcast, all the way through it.
Wow.
Yeah, helped him through the whole thing. But in the early days of it, like the first few episodes, it was Tom, me, and some famous comedian.
Okay.
For like 2 hours.
Okay, so hold on. Before we go any further, did you talk to Tom at all in the time that it took from your 8 o'clock party ending on a Sunday to getting the call from podcast blah, 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 and blah, 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 to come and produce this podcast? You talked to Tom at all, like text or calls or anything?
No, the hilarity of the whole thing is we never addressed it at all.
He just called you random. Here you got a random call. How long ago? How far away?
We pretended we didn't know each other in the first. I guess we pretended we didn't know. I didn't like say, "Hey, that was a great party, man. Thank you so much." I didn't do any of that garbage.
Yeah.
I was just the silent producer. I gave him, like a wink. I was like, "Hey, thanks, bud."
And then, ever since then, and this is 2001, 2002. I know that Tom had a podcast way early on.
No, this was about 2009.
2009, sorry, not that far back. Yeah.
This was right when it started making money. You know, when the big companies were getting together saying, "Who can we get money, make money with the money?"
Yeah, like podcast blah blah blah.
Yeah, that one, and then blah blah podcast is another one.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that one too. I might have worked for one
Networks.
or two. Ooh,
there's the third one.
Ooh, yeah. I think there's a number one in some of those somewhere too.
So it was the early days, but I got to tell you, every Tuesday I'd have an 11 a.m. at WeWork.
Oh my God, you recorded at a WeWork?
Yeah, with glass windows.
Oh God.
Everybody's walking by, and there was Steve-O and Tom Green and me, and where was I? And I'd be like, "Oh, you were just talking about the time you tattooed your back, Steve-O."
He was still drinking then. Because he's sober now. Okay, so you met Steve-O. Who else came across the pod that you would say was probably one of who'd you fangirl over mostly?
Okay, something you gotta know about me is I don't respect a comic that way. I'm not gonna sit there and go, "Oh my word," because I was raised on the people like what's his face, Dane Cook. Like the comedians who kind of sold out
and stole all their stuff.
Didn't really do it right.
Yeah. No, I know.
So I was soured into it, and being a producer, I don't give a shit who you are.
I know, but there's always that one person.
Harlan Williams came in, and afterwards we went and had food.
I met Harlan.
That was really cool, the three of us having food at a Buffalo Wild Wings together.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. So you're Tom Green's plus one forever with podcasting now?
That's correct. I think so. He just moved to Canada.
Hey,
back to Canada. So he's got a YouTube channel right now. It's doing really well. He's fishing and whatnot. But
are you producing that?
I'm not producing that, but I'm here if he needs me. And he calls me every so often to ask me tech questions, which I love. Like my phone will ring, and then a minute-long conversation of, "Hey, what did you use to do that one thing that one time?" And I'll be like, "Oh, that's an Orban." He's like, "Oh, Orban. Okay, great, thanks."
How do you spell or?
So he's, I'll always look back at my plus one kind of getting into like comedy and entertainment.
That's hilarious.
No. And as time goes on and we lose more and more comedians, stuff, it just means more and more. So thanks for letting me tell that story, man. He was transitioning from being like a wacky comedian to more of a Johnny Carson sit down and have a conversation.
Okay.
He was asking me legitimate producer questions like, how should I ask this question? Should I ask it this way or that way?
That's dope.
And then I got to sit down and really dive deep into what the answers might be, like to be a real producer. So those moments are really, really cool.
That's dope. Because with everything set aside, he's still a creative guy. That's how he got into this space. So to work with someone that's been that successful is pretty dope. Now, what do you think would be, was there like a really crazy interview, or was there any type of, beside now that you're stuck with him forever, is there anything that you did for the recording of the podcast or something with him that stands out in your mind besides your first meeting?
That stands out in my mind. The first time I went over to his house and went into his creative lair, I didn't go, wow. I said, oh, you got that. Oh, that's good. You have that thing. And I started pointing to tech stuff.
Equipment.
And we sat there for like 2 hours talking about how he plugged it in. And I got to help him kind of rewire a couple of things in there and tweak it. And I think that stands out in my mind because behind me, there was a big movie poster framed that said Freddy got fingered.
Yeah.
And I go, I'm sitting there wiring something on my back, I was like, and I noticed that poster. I go, hey, that's a cool poster. And he goes, yeah, it paid for this whole thing. It paid for the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so cool. Like to have that freedom with one movie, to just say, oh,
yeah, I'm
good. Don't have to struggle about any of that anymore. So just having that, seeing that play out, seeing a real-life human being person that had achieved some level of success was really cool. And to be able to strip off all of the BS that people put on when they meet people, that's something I'll cherish,
Yeah, no, definitely. And he's a friend now, and that's pretty dope that you can say Tom Green's your friend. Obviously, you just did it for 25 minutes.
And I'm sure he'll be all right with me telling this story. If not, sorry, Tom. You know me.
I mean, you don't have to tell him.
I got a big mouth.
But it would be cool if he promoted this podcast. Wink, wink. You could hit up your friend. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, friends don't do that.
I know. Yeah, they do, but they do it like
just
way more directly.
In the title. Here's a hint. If you put everybody's name in the title, they see it and they do it.
I know. It's sometimes I'm not allowed. So this one, I got your recorded permission to put his name in the title. And if he cease and desists me, or whatever that word is, I will be
I'm sure he'll
pissed.
love this story. I'm sure he'll love hearing my side of how, we became bros, because he calls, it's not, if I needed him right now, I could call him and one time I called him at 4 a.m. because I knew he was on tour in Florida.
Oh shit. It was 7 a.m.
So
there.
I called him at 4 and I asked him, because I was like going to quit a job or some stupid thing. And I called him for his advice, and he picked up and gave me like half hour. He was in an airport hanging out. So yeah, I'm sure he'll appreciate the other side of the coin in this relationship that I have with Tommy.
Is that what you call him, Tommy?
Who's now a fisherman. I guess he caught his first fish on a lake.
Ever?
Drilled a hole. Well, it's cold up there.
Well, I know, but he used to live up there. Didn't he fish when he was younger?
I don't know, man. I think he got the heck out early.
Really? Yeah, he probably did, huh? Well, dude, that's awesome. Make sure the next time he's in town, we all get together and have dinner or something, man.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to go to a shitty, didn't you used to work at one of those shitty places where people do stand-up? We have to go to one of those. That'll be the thing.
I've worked in a lot of shitty places. All right, Funk, where can people get a hold of you?
Oh, man, I'm on Instagram at That's Right, Barry FUNKhouser.
That's the whole name?
That's right, Barry FUNKhouser.
Well, I mean, I guess I can't forget it, but
that's right.
That's a lot of buttons to push.
Have fun.
All right, you can also go to thisisfunner.com and check out all the other podcasts and online content that we do. And thank you so much, Barry, for joining me. And maybe we'll have to revive the Cisco and Funk show soon.
Oh, gosh, man. That would be another dream.
How cool would it be to do a podcast again?
Let's go on the curb again, man.
The curb. Oh, shit. I got to find that audio.
Yeah.
All right, let me push this button real quick if it works.
It's the new music show with Cisco and Funk.
Where are you going?
Sorry. I
The
was.
new music show, Cisco and Funk.
I didn't want to toot over here.
You just walked away or something.
Hey, what's going on, dude? That was
The good old days.
Oh, flashback. Doodly doot.
All right,
it's
man.
good talking to you, Chris.
All right, Funk. Talk soon, man.
You've survived another story. Thanks for listening, and please let us know what you think about the show by leaving a rating and review. If you have a story or want to connect with Chris, go to thisisfunner.com.